Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Monday's Mortgage Minute with Valerie Beausoleil Realty Group at Keller Williams and Stephanie Anderson, Atlantic Bay Mortgage.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today again, Stephanie. I know you have a pretty busy schedule, so we appreciate this valuable mortgage advice that you give us each week. This week, we are going to talk a little bit about what is the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved. Now, I've been told by a couple of people, oh, it's the same thing. And then other people have other opinions on it. So I would really love to know what Atlantic Bay does differently that creates a better scenario for my clients.
Yes.
But first off, let's talk a little bit about who you are and your experience.
Yeah. So been originating 18 years, licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, and in Virginia. I can help you with a purchase. I can help you with a refinance. I can help you with a primary residence, a second home, an investment property, construction loan, renovation loan, anything mortgage related that secures your home as an asset. Generally, I can help you with that. Thank you so much for having me.
I am thrilled to have you. Thank you for coming. So tell me, what is the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved? Or is there a difference? Enlighten me.
Yes. So it depends on who you're talking to. It depends on the lender. Each loan officer, even sometimes not even just lender, the loan officer can have kind of a different definition of pre-qualification versus pre-approval. Here at Atlantic Bay and with my team, pre-qualification and pre-approval are two very, very different levels of qualification. Pre-qualification means that the buyer has submitted their application to us. They may or may not have submitted all of their documents like pay stubs, bank statements, etc. And from the loan officer level, we are qualifying them based on the information they have provided to us on the application. There's a little level of danger, I guess, kind of in that buyers don't always know what their income is. It's not necessarily that they're not being truthful. They may not calculate their income the same way that a mortgage lender is going to have to calculate their income. True. They may not understand that they had $20,000 in their bank statement, or as a balance on their last bank statement, but today they only have $2,000, what the relevance of those things are and how that can affect them on their pre-qualification. Mm-hmm. So although I will issue a pre-qualification, I do like to dig in deeper to that, ask questions, try to get them to submit documents to me before I send out that pre-qualification. Beyond that, though, the next step is a pre-approval. And a pre-approval means that that buyer has submitted all of those documents that have been requested. Again, tax returns, W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements, etc. And we have taken all of those documents and actually submitted them into underwriting. So underwriting is who gives us final loan approval. We go ahead and submit all those documents to the underwriter, let them review them, and give us an approval based off of that.
For so clarity, you go to underwriting?
Yes.
When you give me a pre-approval, these are underwritten already?
Yes.
That's very unusual.
Very
unusual.
And I really try to encourage folks to do that because sometimes at the loan officer level, even if it's a skilled loan officer, an experienced loan officer, when that loan is submitted to the back office, the operations team, where underwriting is going to review it, they do additional steps. For example, they run what's called a fraud guard. If there's something popped up on that fraud guard, that's not something that the loan officer sees at their level. They don't see that until it goes into that underwriting stage. In comparison, most lenders do not actually submit the loan to underwriting until the buyer has gone under contract. So they pre-qualify the buyer, they give them their letter, allow them to go out and do their house hunting. After they've done their house hunting, they found a house, gotten a contract in place, bring that contract back to the lender. And then at that point, they submit that loan into underwriting. But unfortunately, at that point, I don't want to say it's too late, but right at that point, the
Well,
buyer here in North Carolina, we have due diligence, right? And that's non-refundable money. So at that point, they've already put in their non-refundable due diligence deposit. And if the loan officer missed something, or perhaps it wasn't visible to the loan officer from their level, there's nothing that you can do to go back and change that piece of it. So again, why
yeah.
that is just so very important.
Which is why I love to work with your company and you,
Thank you.
honestly, because that due diligence is something that I really impress upon my clients understanding very, very well, because in some states, if you don't get financing, that is just cause to back out of the contract. Well, in
Right.
North Carolina, it is not. And I deal with a substantial amount of people that are moving in here. As we know, we've got a big influx of relocating people to North Carolina, and they
Right.
just don't realize that. And it's important to understand that due diligence money, it it's non-refundable, even if you can't get your loan. So the fact that
Right.
you pre-qualify and pre-approve them and put them through underwriting is impressive. Now, it does take a little bit longer. Some
Sure.
mortgage companies will give you, a pre-qualification letter within 30
On the
minutes to an
spot.
hour.
Yeah,
Mhm.
some of them will do it on the spot. You can enter an application online, and
Yep,
the online system will read the data and
yep.
pre-qualify that buyer based off of the data that was entered in through the application.
Right.
Again, not that a buyer would be trying to be untruthful,
No?
but they don't calculate their numbers the same way that the mortgage company is going to be required to calculate
Yeah,
those and be able to stay within guidelines.
yeah.
I would encourage all buyers to make sure they are asking questions of their loan officer to understand. Pre-qualification is pretty much the same term and definition for all lenders, right? They're
Mhm.
qualifying them from the loan officer level. They may or may not have submitted documents in, but essentially they are qualifying them based off the information that was just entered there in the application.
Yeah.
The difference in definition comes in at that pre-approval. So again, a buyer needs to ensure they have a good realtor like yourself, Valerie, honestly, that they
Mhm.
have asked the questions of the loan officer to understand what is your definition of a
Mhm.
pre-approval. Does that just mean you've qualified me at the loan officer level and then
Yeah,
you've sent it through like a computerized approval system? Does
yeah.
that mean you've collected documents, but that is stopped there? Does that mean you've collected documents and actually submitted those into underwriting? As you probably
Exactly.
would imagine, those documents being submitted through underwriting and
Yeah.
having that level of review and approval is going to be the strongest qualification that you
Mhm.
can get. And in
Yeah.
fact, we use that as a sales tool for our buyers, right?
Yeah.
Because even though it's not a cash offer, we understand that, but it sure makes your offer get
Strong.
really close, yes,
Yeah.
to that cash offer.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that the seller cares about the most, it's not always about the money, right? It's about which of these particular offers are going to make it to the closing table. Because if they have an offer that's $50,000 more than other offers, but it never closes, that $50,000 was kind of null and void, right?
Yeah.
So they want to ensure that loan is going to make it to closing.
And Stephanie, that being said, what's your company's statistic on getting to the closing table?
Yep, 98%. If we
Yeah.
submit that loan, we
Yeah.
are closing that deal. Very rarely are you,
Yeah.
finding surprises. Sure, there are things that come up, but
Yeah.
generally we've done such an in-depth review on the front end, we're closing that transaction.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's company policy. I recently heard that, that's the goal, is to get
Yes.
through and make sure that that gets to the closing table. You know,
Absolutely, it
yeah.
is. We take those buyers' lives at heart. One of
Mhm.
our mottos is lending peace of mind, and we really genuinely work by that idea. And one way is this level of the pre-approval, right? They've
I agree.
already been through underwriting, and so they have
Mhm.
that piece about them that I can make this due diligence deposit that I know is non-refundable and know and trust I'm able to get my loan.
Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate that, and so do they. So, Stephanie, thank you again. I love this information that you share with the world here on social media and all over the internet. You are a wealth of knowledge, and I look forward to continuing our series of Monday Mortgage Minutes. If anybody wants to reach out to Stephanie, here's her email. I think that's one of the best ways to get her. You can also reach her on her cell, and she is available just about all the time.
Anytime you need me, you call.
Yep, she does have children, so we do try to respect that time, but she is available nights and weekends.
You got it. Yeah. You need my help, you be in touch and let me know that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right. So good having me, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I love educating folks and would love to answer additional questions. So whether it's yourself or others that have questions, feel free, shoot those over to me via email or via text, and I'm happy to get them answered.
And you can also put them down in the comments. If you have any comments,
I love it. Even better.
We'll be happy to answer them. I can refer you if you don't have time, or if you're watching this on the road and you can't write this down, just ask in the comments. We'll be happy to put you in contact with Stephanie or myself if you need a great realtor.
That's right.
So I will see you all next week. Thank you again, Stephanie.
Yes, you're welcome.
Have a great day, people. Bye-bye.